Today we need to clean up this tire a little bit, take apart the hub, clean up the hub. We need to make sure we know what we're doing about this 2-speed hub. So we've got the service manual out. That's what's happening on this episode of Featherstone Bicycles. I got the manual out because I wanted to read up and look at the picture of the exploded diagram about this 2-speed hub. And this is a Bendix red band 2-speed rear hub with coaster brake. So I don't know if you can see that yet, but it definitely is a Bendix. And it does have the red band. However, and I have seen these before, that this exploded diagram shows that the hub has 2 bands. And I don't know whether the 2 bands indicated that it was a 2-speed, but clearly this is only 1 band. Well, it's the next day, and upon further review last night, I realized that this is in fact not a 2-speed. It is a Bendix RB2, which was made from 1963 forward. And you can see from all these components that that is actually the hub that I have. Well, I had to turn the camera off there because this grease was so caked on here that even with time lapse, this video would have been hours long. So I, got as much as I could. I ended up even having to, even with the brush, it wouldn't get stuff off. So I had to use a pick here to scrape, and it's so caked on that what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put everything in this container that came with the parts washer, and I'm just going to let it soak down in the solvent here. I think this will fit down here. Yep. And let that soak down in there for a while. In the meantime, Got the tire here. I've got some hot water with some Dawn or equivalent dishwashing detergent, and I'm going to clean this up. Just got a scrub brush here. Meguiar's Hot Shine tire spray on here. A lot of it. Probably going to have to be a couple coats. So we had our parts deep down in the solvent overnight, and let's see if we can get some of that. All of our parts now degreased, with the exception of the ball bearings and the ball bearing cages, which needed a little bit of extra time in the solvent. But now we're going to hit these all up on the wire wheel to shine them up. found out the hard way that leaving something in the degreasing solvent overnight will take the paint off. So I'm using some of that touch-up paint that I got. This one happens to be called Porsche Red, which was from a Schwinn bicycle. I don't know that I ever saw a Schwinn called Porsche Red, but it's a pretty good match for the red that was on this hub. Thing we need to do is get our bearing cages out of here and do the final cleanup on those. We're ready to put the hub back together, and the first thing we're going to do is grease up these bearings cages. I'm just using the standard marine grease that I always use, and the reason that I'm telling you that is because we're going to use two different kinds of grease according to the manual in the assembly of this unit. do it for this week. Next week, we're going to put the rear wheel all back together. Thanks for sticking with me, and I hope to see you next time on Featherstone Bicycles.